Welcome to Living a Graceful Life. I'm Denise Medved, your host, and I'm also the creator and founder of the Ageless Grace Brain Health Program, which is in 50 US states and 31 other countries. We just added a new country to our repertoire of places where educators are teaching people about brain health in a fun and playful and easy way to have educators in that country now. So welcome to everyone who's watching. And I just want you to remember that the purpose and the reason for this show is to remind everyone that it's never too late to begin making choices to create the life that you want to live. And there are all kinds of choices that affect your body, your mind, your spirit, your emotions, all of the above. And they're in your power to make those choices, regardless of your age, your geographic location, your ability, your career, how many children you have. None of that matters. You are able to make certain choices that can affect the quality of your life, or that can change the quality of your life. And so I'm delighted to talk to someone who I've known a longtime friend and colleague, Lana Gelb, and let you learn a little bit more about her, because our topic on the show tonight is Your Brain on Yoga. And we talk a lot about the brain, and we talk a lot about how things can stimulate it, change it, harm it, affect it, all the different things that are being talked about all over the world today, because losing cognitive function as we age is the number one health concern, above cancer, above heart disease. And so that's one of the reasons we want to talk about the fact that you have many choices that can affect the quality of your brain and improve your cognitive function or restore it. So let me tell you just a tiny bit about Lana first. She has been a yoga instructor, therapist for almost 4 decades. Think about that. She has a 6-week program called Your Brain on Yoga, which is an offshoot of the Brain Wake Up Method. And it combines a magical blend of ancient yoga wisdom and modern neuroscience. The purpose of this marriage is to help us all attain a balanced, clean, joyful, and grateful life. And the best part is you don't even have to be a yoga student to take advantage of this program that Lana has put together and created. So Lana, welcome. So happy to have you with us on this episode.
Thank you so much, Denise. I'm so happy to be here. I always love working together with you and just look forward to it. So hi, everyone as well. Thank you for being here. So I'm so happy you mentioned.
Excellent. And I like to tell everyone that we are on an internet connection. So if your program stutters just a little bit or freezes for a second or two, or Lana's or mine, know that it will pass pretty quickly and we'll just continue on. So don't worry about it if it does happen that way. So Lana, tell us first of all a little bit about what is a yoga life.
So
can you hear me, Lana?
I'm having you're glitching on mine, but I'm hoping that you all can hear me. So a yoga life is definitely something that I try to live myself and that I admire and have done for decades. Yoga has fascinated me for all these decades and still continues to, because it's ever evolving. It's not just something that was developed thousands of years ago and there it is, and that's the whole deal. In fact, people are not that aware that the asanas, the physical postures in yoga, were only really brought to the United States and to the Western world the last 200 years. And what was thousands of years old and considered yoga because they thought that some of the yogis thought that what was brought here, the asanas, was a bit obscene and not quite nice at the time, I have read. So because they felt it was adulterating yoga. And yoga was meditation, chanting, and breathing. Those were the three things that were ancient and still are today extremely useful, beneficial, both to the body, mind, and spirit. And now the fourth dimension, the brain, because there's so much research. And now with COVID, we know that the brain, well, there's so much cognitive decline that's happened in the last 2 years. The research has shown that. So now there's a lot more interest in how can we improve our brains. So the yoga life for me consists of different things. First of all, I'm happy that you mentioned the word choices, Denise, because we have choices, and I consider yoga a lifestyle. So like other lifestyle choices, we have the choice to choose a healthy life as opposed to a not healthy life. We have a choice to choose a balanced life, a life that is mindful, aware, conscious, a life that is active as opposed to sedentary, a life that is peaceful as opposed to anxious or hectic, a life that is natural and that is compassionate, as yoga is, loving animals and treating animals in the way that they do in respecting animals. So for me, and spiritual is another life choice if you choose to be spiritual. So for me, all of that is yoga, a yoga life, living a yoga life. And one of the things I'm so fascinated now that I have discovered my brain and that I have one is all the things that I've been doing in yoga and how can I blend that together with the brain and what does the research show. So what I'd like to do today is to do a breath exercise with you. And there are so many. I was really spoiled for choice and I kept changing. So be with me with my choice today. And I chose it because of the fact that we're in a pandemic. We still are. And this is really excellent for the lungs and for breathing. And we know when we breathe any of the breathing exercises, we then stimulate oxygen in our brains and our brain cells function better. And the blood flow functions, goes to the brain and flows to the brain as well. So this is one I'd like to do with you called Lion's Breath. Now, Lion's Breath, I want you to just make believe you're in my homeland of South Africa, where I was born, or maybe visualize the MGM lion, and I want you to roar. Now, we're going to do 3 of those breaths, and I'd like you to put your hands on your thighs. Spread your fingers apart as wide as possible. Sit up nice and tall with your feet flat on the floor, and you're going to roar, but you're going to stick your tongue out and point your tongue towards your chin. The most important thing you can do is to really breathe out as long as you can, as though you had a spirometer testing your out breath, your exhalation. Are you ready? It's not a pretty sight, and this is where you have to not be shy, okay? One of the positives of this is that it does build confidence. So, ready, set, go. Take a deep breath in. Yes. Some of you are still breathing. Now, what I want you to think of for the second breath is like you're squeezing a wash rag in your diaphragm area and through your lungs, and you're squeezing out every drop of that breath. Okay, ready? Inhale. Breathe it out. And you want to go at the end so that you're really squeezing it out. Yes, indeed. We're still going to do one more. I just want you to come back from that breath because it's quite an intense, powerful breath. Everybody still okay? If something doesn't feel right for you, don't do it, please, or just take it easy for the third time. Inhale once more. Exhale and wring out the breath. Roar. All right. Well, I saw a number of tongues there, so that's good. One of the things that they found is that it's the research has shown is that chronic breath problems have been solved, so that CPD, that doesn't sound right. What is it, Denise? COPD, that's what I mean. COPD, I took so much air, I think it did something to my brain. I couldn't quite remember. COPD has been improved dramatically with lion's breath. Now, I don't know how you feel, but I feel I really cleared not just my lungs, not just my throat, but my brain. It feels clearer to me. It feels oxygenated. And that's actually another big plus, is for people that are speakers or singers. Lion's breath is an excellent breath to do for them as well, because they're also getting more oxygen, so they're able to speak better, they're able to sing better. And for people with vocal cord issues like I have, it really helps me dramatically. And for people who live really in a cold climate, when it comes to winter and you start to feel a tickle in your throat, that's the time to do lion's breath. So there's a lot of great things. Asthma, for one, is also something that lion's breath helps, as well as Asperger's syndrome. That's been also shown to be an excellent method to calm the nervous system for Asperger's. So I thought that would be a very nice thing to share with them today, Denise.
Yes, that was great. I definitely feel revitalized. It's late in the day for those of us who are Eastern time. And so it was a great wake up.
It's a great wake up.
I know that there are certain things that you can learn. Yes, and there are certain things that you can learn from yoga in order to live a more graceful life. Could you give us maybe 3 of those things that we can learn from yoga?
So I'd like to do one thing called Brahmari breath, which is something that is so useful for I know I'm looking at a bunch of people, and I know there's certain people there on the Zoom that have trouble sleeping. So this is something that activates our vagus nerve tone, that helps our vagus tone. And if I know your partner won't be so happy when you're doing this, but that's okay. It will be short-lived, and you can do it rather briskly, just for a few minutes. But it is really a wonderful thing, and it's very ancient. And it's called Brahmari because that word means black bee. And they have these black bees in India, and you're going to do humming. Mm-hmm. Now, Humming is something like an or a hum or a home or a shalom. All of the words are high vibration. And these are things that help you sleep at night, but they do lots of other things for the brain as well, because once you are stimulating and activating the vagus nerve and also increasing your vibrational frequency when you do this, all of this is very brain active and centric, and it calms down as the vagus nerve calms down your sympathetic nervous system. This will be very helpful to people who not just for sleep, but if you feel yourself getting anxious for some reason, or you've had an event, or somebody has said something to you that you don't particularly care for, and you feel that reaction in your lungs, in your rapid breathing, in your heartbeat, in your tightness of your muscles, in your head, in your headache, in your neck, you can do this Bhramari breathing. And what you're going to do is the following, but you're all going to be humming, okay? So this is all today, all about our voice, our lungs, our breathing, and our brain. Fingers, close the ears. I'll do it first. Don't, because you want to hear me. But fingers, close the ears, all right? Then you're going to put your top two fingers to close your eyes and your ring finger close to your nose, because you want to shut out the world. So you're shutting off the senses. You're shutting off the hearing. You're shutting off the seeing. You're just going to be breathing and feeling the vibration in your throat like a bee. Again, all the benefits of the last one we did are similar to this, only it's even more brain centric with the vagus nerve. And we're doing progressions here today. So close the ears, close the eyes, and before you do, just listen. Again, really draw out the breath as much as you possibly can. Inhale deeply, close off the world. Gosh, a lot of good breathing going on there. That was a long time for a lot of people. So we know that it's more important to exhale deeply than to inhale deeply, because once you've exhaled, the inhalation is deeper, and then you're getting more breath into your system and into your brain. This all has to do with reducing inflammation, because stress, which we've all encountered during this pandemic, is highly inflammatory. And once we breathe, and I'm assuming you all feel quite relaxed now, because the humming helps that. Imagine if you do that 2 or 3 times. Now, if you're out in public, you can just hum. You don't have to close off the public if you feel embarrassed. But if you're in your car and you're sitting in your car and the stop dead traffic, hum. It helps a lot. So that's a second one, Denise, that we can do, the bee buzz. And we have the some of the others that are for stress. And mainly I'm going for stress now, because I know so many people who are stressed. But this one is such a special one, and a lot of people probably won't know about this. So this is such a well-kept secret. A groundbreaking study was done at the University of California, UCLA, at their longevity center in 2010. But there are two more studies, one from the University of Pennsylvania and that has been done, and another that's still currently happening. It's a very long-term study from Pennsylvania University. And we know that this particular kriya, which is action in Sanskrit, Sanskrit is an ancient classic language that all yoga asanas are in Sanskrit, and this is one. And it's something that we sing. It's a chant. This is one of the ancient chants. And it is sa, ta, na, ma. Now that's easy enough to say, right? Would you say it with me? Sa,
Sa,
ta,
ta,
na,
na,
ma.
ma.
Sa, ta,
Ta,
na,
na,
ma.
ma.
S-A-T-A-N-A-M-A, Satanama. Now,
I'm putting it in
Satnam.
the chat in case someone wants to see it written.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yes, Satanama. There we go. And this that's had these long-term studies done. And the research comes from the Alzheimer's Research organization, and has been published in the the Alzheimer's Journal is one of the ones where it's published, and another one I forget the name of, but it's been published, and the results of this Satanama Kirtan has shown huge research findings in the brain. And what has happened here is our telomeres, which are part of our chromosomes, the end of the chromosomes and the DNA, have all gotten longer. That's number one. Number two, our gray matter has increased dramatically. The percentage is huge. Even with the telomeres, it's over 40% growth in telomeres. Increase in synaptic function, so your synapses are working better. Reduces multiple factors for Alzheimer's that people have in Alzheimer's. Enhances cerebral blood flow to significant areas of the brain, and enhances executive function. They've proven that. This is the biggie. It reversed 3 different things: mild cognitive impairment, subjective cognitive decline, and Alzheimer's. Now, how amazing is that, that they reversed it? People keep saying to me, but you can't reverse Alzheimer's. Yes, you can. And I highly recommend people do this. You feel so amazing. It's a 12-minute Kriya, Kirtan, and I can't even describe it. I've been doing it of late, and I love it, and it's just excellent. So I'd like to do a few minutes with you guys, all right? The other part of it is it uses mudras. So this is Sat, this is Nam, Sa, I'm sorry, Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Are you with me? Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Using the mudras, we know we have so many receptors in our hands that go to the brain, the mechanoreceptors and the messaging back and forth. So I'm going to make it short and sweet, and I'm going to now sing it, and then I'm going to get to the whisper. It'll just be a couple of minutes. Is that okay, Denise?
Yes.
All right. So please sit with your legs uncrossed and your ankles uncrossed and your hands on your laps, getting ready to do the mudras. I'll put my fingers up here just to remind you. Eyes are closed. And I want you to feel. Another part is visualization. Visualize the sound coming into your crown of your head and going out through your third eye. It's like an L shape. That's the visualization. So there's a lot of aspects to this. Can you hear the music? I put the wrong one on. I'm so sorry. That's not good. Okay, here we go. Nama Satanama 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 whisper So just slowly bring movement back to your fingers and just rubbing the fingertips together. And take a deep breath in and slowly open your eyes. Unfortunately, I couldn't do the 12 minutes with you, but it is a 12-minute exercise. Just think something so simple like that and the amazing results, because you're working the fingers. It's first you do it singing, then you do it whispering, then you do it just listening, so that you're exercising your brain and your mind with the Satanama. Then it goes back to the whisper, then it goes back to the singing. So it's like 4, 2, 2, 2, 2, 4. Is that right? 4, 2, 2, 2, 4. Okay. Yeah, so that's the 12 minutes.
That was fabulous. That was fabulous and so simple. Again, I wrote it into the chat. It's so simple. So for everyone can write that down and be able to practice that and try it for 12 minutes. And let me see if I got this right. 4, 2, 2, 2, 4.
I believe it's 4 minutes singing. It'll guide you, because if you get this on your phone, they all do it the same way. There is a 6-minute one for those of you who are afraid to do a 12-minute and they just cut it in half. So it's a meditation, and meditation has so much research on the brain and the stress fact, reducing stress and just increasing everything in your brain. And we want our brains to increase our gray matter, and we want our cells to increase there. So we don't want to have them shrink when we don't do things like some of these things that I shared with you today.
It was wonderful. It was fabulous. And we have lots of questions and we can talk during the chat time about that. So I thank you all for being here. And Lana, I thank you so much for that wonderful information. Would you like to tell everyone your website or your email so that they can get in touch with you?
Sure. The easiest is you see my name on my screen, and it's lanagelb@gmail.com. So my website is Good Vibes Consultants, but that's a mouthful. And don't worry, I do check my emails.
Great. Well, and also, just so you know, we are doing a 3-part series in September, October, and November with Lana on the TV shows. So tune in on Mondays and watch for that. We'll be sending out announcements, but it's September 19th, October 17th, and November 21st. And then Lana and I will be doing a series of 3 workshops also that will be hosted by Ageless Grace Brain Health. And you can find out more about that on our website. It isn't posted yet, but it will be shortly. And it's at agelessgrace.com. So thank you for being here. And I remind everyone again, it's never too late to begin making choices to create the life that you want to live.